Another loaded show coming your way. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you. Here's what we're getting into. We have the latest on George Kittle. What is happening with this contract dilemma? Or, according to George Kittle, is it not a dilemma at all? We have some Niners roster moves to talk about, updates on Brock Purdy and Fred Warner, also on the contract front, and some Niners draft worries going into tomorrow's NFL draft. And speaking of that, we will be live every single day, every single round, dissecting every single pick that is made in the 2025 NFL Draft. Tomorrow, specifically on Thursday, our round one coverage will get underway at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. That's 2 hours before the Tennessee Titans will be on the clock with the first overall pick. It'll be the best live Niners draft show. You don't want to miss it, so lock us in and hit that sub button. We begin with this. Let's get to the latest on tight end George Kittle, who still, in my opinion, is the best all-around tight end in football. He's going to be 32 years old in October. He's looking for a contract extension as he's entering the final year of his deal. And it's a contract that has become outdated over time because the tight end market has gotten more lucrative over the last couple of years, and it's still a bargain and pales in comparison to the wide receiver market when you see wideouts making $40 million per year at this point, and tight ends are just as important and at times even more important to an offense than that wide receiver position. And so Kittle is making $15 million in average annual value, and he did not report to the start of Niners' voluntary offseason activities. And this contract extension, I would imagine, would pay Kittle between $19 and $20 million per year. A player like Trey McBride of the Arizona Cardinals a few weeks ago reset that tight end market because his new deal pays him $19 million per season, and George Kittle is the better, more accomplished player, even though he's much older than McBride. And there's an issue with Kittle, though, that I do want to discuss, and I've been talking about this for months here on the show, but it's important to revisit. And it's important to keep in mind until the Niners give him a contract extension. If they do, does it make sense for the Niners to extend him and give a 32-year-old tight end who's been in the league since 2017 a big-time pay raise, a lot of guaranteed dollars, and a huge pay bump, right? Because Kittle is going to be 32 years old in October. And contrary to popular belief, he's actually been a pretty durable player throughout his NFL career. But think about what the Niners have said this offseason. Think about what the Niners have done this offseason. They have said, we want to build through the draft. We want to shed salary. We want to get younger. So if you want to get younger and you want to clear up some money, do you pay a 32-year-old tight end $20 million per season? Or do you let him play out the remainder of his contract, maybe address tight end in the NFL draft this year in a deep tight end class and reset financially at that position, which would then clear up a lot of money in the future too. I think Kittle is an all-time Niner. I think he's the heart and soul of this organization. He's one of the backbones of San Francisco's locker room and this entire team. He is still playing at an elite level. The numbers have not gone down. In fact, in the last couple of years, he's played some of his best football, and he's a great weapon for Brock Purdy. And so what I would do, pay Kittle. You don't let Special walk out of the door. You don't let all-time legends leave your organization. You don't disgruntle players like this who give their heart and soul to the fan base and the organization. And so the Niners, once again, have decided to wait forever to pay Kittle. They allowed the tight end market to get reset, and so they're going to owe Kittle more money than they would have if they tried to sign him earlier, but he's worth the price tag as a blocker, as a pass catcher, picking up yak, a great weapon for Brock Purdy, who I imagine the Niners are going to extend. Kittle plays hurt all the time. He's a great red zone weapon as well. And I still think that he has elite football left to play over the next 3 to 5 years. Now, the purpose of today's show, or at least this topic, is this report from Diana Rossini. She tweeted out, Brock Purdy's appearance at Niners OTAs is a positive sign as extension talks continue to be between San Francisco and its quarterback. George Kittle's absence is also contract-related, sources say, and the two sides remain far apart. Rossini sent that tweet out. It started to gain some traction on social media. And guess who shot it down? Guess who's speaking for himself? You don't need any sources from this because this is the source, right? George Kittle responded to that tweet and said, "Your source is incorrect." So I guess according to Kittle, his absence at the start of OTAs is not contract related. But we know what's happening, right? Kittle's looking for a new deal. And right now, he's become underpaid at his respective tight end position. He's the fourth highest paid tight end in football behind TJ Hawkinson, who Kittle is better than, Travis Kelce, who Kittle is better than, and Kelce is washed. And yeah, there's no doubt that Kittle is better than Trey McBride. And I know a lot of you are going to say, Kittle's always hurt. He's always injured. Outside of the year after, or at least the season following that big contract extension that he signed, which would have been 2020 when he missed a lot of time, his last 4 years, he's actually been available a lot. I mean, he hasn't played less than 14 games in any of the last 4 years. And with subpar quarterback play to kind of start his career, he still put up really good numbers. In 2021, that was still the case. 94 targets, 71 catches, 910 yards, and 6 touchdowns. In 2022, he really started to catch fire, especially when Brock Purdy became the starter. 60 catches, 765 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And the last 2 years, he's been targeted 90-plus times. He's had 65, 78 catches respectively. He's surpassed 1,000 yards in each of the last 2 years, and he has 14 touchdowns the last 2 years. So you look at the touchdown numbers, too, in the last 3 campaigns. A lot of those came with Brock Purdy. I believe 7 down the stretch came with Purdy. And so he has been Purdy's right-hand man. You traded away Deebo Samuel. I think that signals that the Niners want to include and involve Kittle more in the passing game, and I'm totally fine with that strategy. So along these conversations, should the Niners give Kittle $20 million per year? Type P for pay, type Y for you think the Niners have to get a little bit younger? Let me know down in the comment section right now. More to get to here on today's San Francisco 49ers report, but a lot of you are probably watching the show asking yourselves and asking me in the comment section, Chase, that shirt is awesome. You're repping the Niners with a really cool looking shirt. Where did you get it? Our friends at Chubby's. And that happens to be the sponsor of today's show. You can see the products for yourself at chubbyshorts.com/chat. And you think about where we are in the calendar year, right? April is here. But this ain't the time for fooling. It's the time to let those thighs breathe. Whether you're playing around a golf with the fellas, hitting up a beer garden, or visiting an actual garden, Chubby's has you covered for all of the good vibes that warm weather brings. Bright polos that demand attention? Check. Killer shorts that show off those beautiful thighs? Double check. Hitting up the pool or the beach? Their classic line swim collection has your new favorite trunk for those sunny days. For everything non-weather related and non-water related, their original shorts provide that classic look with a fresh vibe and a modern fit. And for a mix of laid-back style and performance, you got to try their everywhere shorts. That's every W-E-A-R, everywhere. Get it? Yeah. At the end of the day, your wardrobe deserves a springtime upgrade. So to sweeten the deal for a limited time, Chubby's is giving our listeners, our viewers, our supporters, 20% off your order when you use our exclusive code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. Experience unmatched comfort and style with Chubby's iconic original stretch shorts. They also have performance polos. Now that you're cooking with gas, with a soft and stretchy breathable fabric, these polos that are built to kick back, turn up, chill out, party down, will make your summer and the warm weather even better. One more time, head to chubbyshorts.com/chat. Use that code CHAT for 20% off. Support our show. Tell them that the 49ers Report, Chat Sports, and Chase Sr. sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd, man. Stand out with Chubby's. That's exactly what I'm doing today. As for some roster moves for San Francisco, the Niners signed all of these players to their exclusive rights free agency tenders, and that includes defensive end Alex Barrett, defensive tackle Evan Anderson, tight end Braden Willis, and linebacker Jalen Graham. Of this grouping here, Evan Anderson, Jalen Graham, they have wonderful opportunities during the 2025 season to earn playing time and to be significant players for the Niners. For Graham at linebacker, for Evan Anderson at defensive tackle. The Niners really prioritized him following the 2025 NFL draft. They signed him as a UDFA. They gave him a lot of money for a UDFA, practice squad money, which signaled we believe that he can make our 53-man roster. He had a good training camp. He had a good preseason. And then about midway through the year, he started to get more snaps at defensive tackle. He had that huge play against the run against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the Bucs were driving, trying to punch in that near goal line touchdown. And Evan Anderson's play helped the Niners win that game. He was able to get to the quarterback on a couple of occasions. There's something there with this guy who's big, takes up a lot of real estate, and is really athletic. I mean, he can throw down a dunk given all of that weight still being on his limbs. The 49ers defensive line depth chart, by the way, not in a great spot going into the NFL draft, and that's why I expect the Niners to heavily invest in that position. If this were the Niners starting defensive line week 1, it's a bottom 5 defensive line in the NFL. I like Evan Anderson as a player. I like him more as a rotational player and a solid, very solid rotational player at that. But point here being Niners need to address the defensive line in the NFL draft. And while I'm high on Evan Anderson as a depth piece, I don't think he's going to be a starter in this league, nor should he be for a team that still has playoff and Super Bowl aspirations. To another topic of today's show. A big talking point around the Niners has been the future of Fred Warner. Was he going to report to OTAs? Was he going to make it be known that he wants a contract extension? Well, Fred Warner reported to voluntary OTAs, and he just has a great attitude, and this is why he's just a great leader for this football team. Now, it is understandable why Warner would want a new deal. He's going into year 4 of 5 of his contract. The linebacker market has been reset a little bit. He is, this upcoming season, going to be the second highest paid off-ball linebacker per year. That will then change next year. He's behind Roquan Smith at $20 million. He's still making $19+ million per year. It's a very good spot to be in. But Fred Warner is a player who, when you look at this list, is far and away better than all of the linebackers who we show you here on this top 10 highest paid linebacker list. He's still at an age in his late 20s where he has some tremendous football still left in front of him. He's been extremely durable, only missing 1 game in his career. And you want to be sure that you keep a player like this happy. Along the same lines of what I said earlier about George Kittle, right? When you have franchise icons and franchise cornerstones, you want those players to always rock your jersey. In this case, the scarlet, red, and gold. And with how elite Fred Warner is, also known as All-Pro Fred, and him aging pretty well, being durable, being a great leader, just being one of the most dynamic overall players in the National Football League, I do think it's important for, at some point, the Niners to lock him up to a long-term contract extension, to not even let it get to a point where he could think about leaving. He has to be an all-time Niner, and on this pace that he's on a Hall of Fame track. I mean, what he's been able to do throughout his career, incredible. And in 2024, the guy broke his foot in Week 4 against the Patriots. He did not miss a game the rest of the year, and he still had 131 tackles, 7 pass breakups, 4 forced fumbles, and a coverage grade of 88.4. They don't make a lot of players like Fred Warner. And how he's handling this is amazing, right? He was asked, do you get a sense that the Niners are going to release some funds your way by the end of the summer? And is this something that you want done before Week 1? Warner says, I mean, it seems like they're releasing plenty of funds as it is already. You know, I get paid plenty already. But listen, that whole part of it, I know they my agent, the team, that'll handle itself out. I'm just ready to just go to work and be the best version of myself. My gosh, isn't that a breath of fresh air? We need more Fred Warners in pro sports. A lot of players in Fred Warner's shoes across all of professional sports, regardless of the league or a sport, being in the contract situation that Fred Warner is in, would potentially hold out. They'd stay away from the team. They would take to social media and sprinkle hints that they're unhappy with their contract situations. And they would let it be known, I want a new deal. I want more money. What does Fred Warner do? Being the ultimate pro, an ultimate leader that he is, the backbone, the heartbeat of this Niners organization. He says, it'll work itself out. I'm in year 4 of a 5-year contract. I'm getting paid plenty. Even though that linebacker market has been reset a little bit, and Fred Warner damn well knows he could be due a raise. It's so refreshing to hear that from a great player like Fred Warner and not have to talk about and worry about all this contract drama. Fred Warner, that's why you're one of the best. As for Brock Purdy, credit to him as well, also present at OTAs. Now, was Purdy really going to stay away from the team, being the team's starting quarterback, and just let Mac Jones take QB1 reps all throughout the spring and summer? There wasn't a chance that was happening. But this is also part of the character of Brock Purdy and why the Niners really like him as an individual and why they're fine paying him at the quarterback spot. Because being a quarterback, of course production is important. Of course winning is important. But you're also going to be the face of the franchise. You have to be a model citizen and a consummate pro. That's exactly what Purdy is. And he's showing up to OTAs without that future contract extension, probably having confidence that it's going to get done, but knowing how important he is to the Niners' success. This is coming off a 2024 season where the Niners' offense was sporadic, clunky, inconsistent. It was an ugly year for the offensive unit. But offense requires timing, rhythm, reps, and practice. And Brock Purdy knows it's important for me to get those reps in with my teammates so that we can be at our best as we try to rebound from last year's awful season. Good on Brock Purdy. And that report from Diana Rossini was this: George Kittle may have shot down the Kittle portion, but Rossini did say his appearance, Purdy's, at OTAs is a positive sign as extension talks continue between San Francisco and its quarterback. And I agree that things seem to be moving in a good direction. Be sure to give me a follow on social media, X and Instagram, large social media following. I cover the Niners all the time on those social media pages, so check out that content. It allows you to stay in the know and get your chubby shirt and gear today.